Brothers and sisters in Christ, grace, mercy, and peace to you from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. This is Pastor Gary from the Orange City campus of Living Water Community Church with your Orange City update on Tuesday, March 31. If you don't mind, I wanted to take a little bit of a longer Tuesday update and not rush through some of these things because of the fact that I think we have some time to spend on these things, and because of the fact that given the current circumstance, given the new normal, we want to be able to communicate really, really well in this season, and we want to be communicating as much as we possibly can with all of you. And so we had 2 leadership meetings last night via Zoom conference call. We had our care elders meeting for the Orange City campus, and we also had our both campus combined council meeting. And so I wanted to walk through a couple of the things there in order for you to know a little bit more about Living Water as a whole, in order for you to know a little bit more about your Orange City campus care elders. And so first I wanted to begin by saying we spent some time on our care elders meeting going through a devotional from Philippians. A quick mention of the fact that we have these online Bible studies through the YouVersion Bible app. If you would like to be a part of that, if you haven't seen the invitations on our Facebook page, if you haven't seen them via email, then make sure you email me, make sure you message me, and I'll get you an invite for that. And the reason I bring that up is because this past one that we just finished was the book of Philippians, and I thought it was very fitting in the end of that book, as Paul is writing to this Philippian church, thanking them for the gifts that they have given, he says one little line that almost seems kind of harsh in some ways. In verse 14 of chapter 4, he says, "It was good of you to share in my troubles." And part of the reason that I wanted to share that with our care elders especially, and with all of you, is because it seems like what Paul is saying, right before this, he gives a context of it's good for me to be in need. It was easy for me to be with a whole bunch of things, and I know what it's like to be in both of those situations. And then he says, it was good of you to share in my troubles. I think part of what he's saying is not only thank you for not leaving me alone, but also it feels like this is an on-ramp. It feels like this is an opportunity for Paul and that Philippian church to be drawn even closer together than they were before, because of the fact that they shared those troubles, because of the fact that they understood the reason that Paul was in chains, the reason that he was isolated because of what he had been going through. And so what I was sharing with our care elders was the fact that many times we have trouble having a connection with someone. Maybe it's because we don't have anything in common, or maybe it's because I don't know what to say right away out of the bat. Understand that now we all have something in common. Understand that because of this isolation thing, because of the coronavirus, because of the social distancing, we all have the situation that we're in very clearly. All of us have been through something together. We're going through something together. And as hard as it is, it's made maybe just a little bit easier in knowing that we're not alone. In knowing that I can text anyone in the world at this moment and say, hey, how are you holding up? And they'll know what I'm talking about. And part of the on-ramp that gives us then is the ability to text someone, the ability to reach out to someone. And I don't think that that's just our leadership. I don't think that should be just for our care elders. That's not just for our council. That's for each and every one of us. At Living Water, we seek to follow Jesus by loving God and loving others. All of us do that. Not just leadership, not just care elders, not just council. Each one of us has that responsibility for our brother and sister. And so reach out to someone. Ask them how they're doing. That's where we began with the care elders. And I wanted to just remind you that your care elders are people that are tasked with walking alongside you. Our Dean Huseman leads that team, and she asked each one of us last night, each one of our care elders, are there ways that we can better reach out? Are there ways that we can see people's needs, that we can see how to walk alongside people even better than what we have been doing? And so I would encourage you to, number one, give grace to each other, give grace to your care elders, as maybe for the first time some of you are meeting who your care elder is or finding out who your care elder is. And as they cycle through their entire list, each person, each care elder has about 15 family units, so to speak. And as they go through all of those, as they figure out the best ways to connect with people, I pray and I ask that you would be ready and willing and able to not only receive their connection, but then to try to connect with someone on the flip side. Try to take the love that you have been shown and show it to someone else. We need each other so desperately in this time. We don't want anyone feeling like they're going through this alone. And so do your best to reach out to someone. Do your best to answer when someone reaches out to you. Then we moved on to having a council meeting, and part of the council meeting was really just discussing what does the financial landscape of Living Water Community Church look like, especially in this time of social distancing and this time of not having our physical meetings. And as we continued to walk through some of the updates, we found that Grace, our Grace Fund, the one that cleans the building and then helps with the tuition from several different schools, that one is having kind of a hard time at the moment. And so we're going to be looking at ways to continue to fill that need. We're going to be looking for ways to figure out what has kind of been a trickle effect for several years now, just the ability to continue to fund this grace mission, the mission of Christian education, the mission of what we're trying to accomplish through Train Up a Child in the way they should go. And so be on the lookout there, I guess, is what I would like to say. Be on the lookout, be having it on your radar. How can we help the Grace Fund? How do we continue to work towards fulfilling our need there? Then we, of course, talked about the Ebenezer Campaign, and I think I had mentioned this a couple different times, that this was going to be, last night was going to be a time of praying and thinking, what does the Ebenezer Campaign look like going forward? We received some great news in terms of how far completed the Sheldon project is, how far advanced it has already become. So we celebrate with our Sheldon campus how far that is, and how well it is going, and how much they are looking forward to next school year to be able to get kids in there and be able to train up a child in the way they should go. From the Orange City side, we talked a little bit about, do we space a couple of these things out, or on the flip side, do we benefit from this time when no one is in the building and really accomplish some of the things that we had set out to accomplish? And after kind of discussing what does it look like in the next few weeks, what does it look like in the next month, we really prayerfully decided to continue to move forward with the Ebenezer Campaign, knowing that the pledges that were given, some of those are about to come in, knowing that some of the donations that were given are already waiting to be used for this Ebenezer Campaign. And so we're excited to continue to move forward with not only the walls being put up in the worship center to make that one little classroom, extra classroom, not only the lights in the worship center, but also the reception desk up front in that entry area, part of the what's going to happen there, part of the trickle effect then, is that Donna and I won't be off campus anymore. We won't be renting a building downtown anymore. Instead, we're going to put ourselves back here on campus. And that's going to happen through the month of April. And then May, as May begins, we will stop doing the renting and we'll be here on campus. Now, the asterisk to all that, the exception to all of that, is that Donna and myself are both doing the social distancing, only coming in when we have an appointment, so to speak, or when we absolutely need to. And so, again, a rabbit trail for this is if you need to get a hold of me, if you need to get a hold of Donna, make sure you email us, make sure you reach out first, and then we'll make sure to set that time up. With all that being said, the Ebenezer Campaign is on its way forward then. The next wave forward is for sure going to be waiting for the lights to finally come in. There were some shipping delays there, of course, with everything being the way it is. And so over the next few weeks, we will be able to accomplish some of the steps of the Ebenezer Campaign in the Orange City campus that we have been looking forward to. And then that leads us to understanding that the letter we had sent out on behalf of council ran through March 31. And so what we talked about last night was knowing that letter is reached its expiration date, what does the month of April look like? And we, of course, weighed in the understanding that the federal government has asked us to do no in-person gatherings through the month of April. At this point, our governor has only put it at April 7. But with that being said, we as a council, we as Living Water Community Church want to respect the federal discussion, the federal recommendation. And so at this point, we are saying there will be no in-person gatherings through the month of April. Now, we of course put an asterisk on that, and as things are continuing to change, as things are continuing to unfold, if the federal government decides to lift that recommendation, if it becomes an option to meet in a couple of weeks, we'll certainly communicate that out to you. We'll certainly give you the information as that goes. But at this point, we are planning to not meet in person throughout the month of April. You'll have a official letter in the next couple of days as we edit that, as we extend those dates from March 31 to the end of April. So be looking for that and read through that, please. And then that, of course, to go full circle, gives us the understanding of what does Easter look like, what does Monday, Thursday look like, what does Good Friday look like. If you remember, the original plan was Good Friday in Sheldon, Monday, Thursday here, and then, of course, Easter is when we celebrate as each campus. Now, some of that is obviously going to change. Some of that we're still going to be able to do together. We've been working at doing both campuses combined for the last 2 weeks, and one of the things that we really wanted to chase was the ability for each campus to host a service or to do a service. And so this week we are aiming at having a Sheldon service and an Orange City service, obviously both online, but one of the options there is to possibly do them at different times. I can't give you 100% what that's going to look like, but just know that Pastor Jesse and myself were working on that. From the technology side, I'm working on being able to have it on YouTube and Facebook. I've had some great feedback from you on which one works better and which one is streaming and all that kind of good stuff. Just know that I'm continuing to work on it so that it's hopefully nice and seamless and you can see it very clearly. One of the options then, of course, is that it's uploaded maybe at a previous time or maybe at a different time. And so make sure that you are checking our Facebook page. Make sure that you're checking our YouTube link. Subscribe to both of those so that you can be notified when those get uploaded. And I'll be sure to keep you in the loop and let you know what happens there. With all that being said, I think that covers about everything. Don't forget, just as we continue to talk about what finances look like, don't forget that we are still asking you to tithe. We are still asking you to give of your offerings, just as Christ asks us to give of that little penny, the widow that gives her out of her entire heart, out of the goodness of her heart. That's what we want to do in this time as well. I recognize and I know that this is going to be a strapping time financially for a lot of people, for a lot of families. I want to celebrate with the fact that this online giving thing is starting to work fairly smoothly. In fact, last night as we talked about how many units, how many family households, so to speak, have signed up for the online giving, we've gone over the last 2 weeks from 30-ish to 67. So 67 of your family households, of your family units have signed up to give online, which is fantastic. It's a great opportunity, and it's a great way to remember to give during this time. So my encouragement would be get signed up on the online giving. There's all kinds of ways that you can do that, or where you can find out how to do that. The easiest one for me to say at the moment is probably go to forallwhothirst.com, and then over on the right hand side there is a tab that says online giving, and just follow those on screen instructions. It was reminded to me last night that don't forget we have an app that you can give through as well. The one-time setup maybe takes a little bit of effort, but then after that it's a simple process. So the Church Center app is what you're going to look for, and then you search in that app for Living Water Community Church, and then you put in your destination of where it's coming from, your checking account, your savings account, whatever, and then you put that into the app, and then you're set up. You're good to go from there on out. So be thinking of how to do those. Don't forget to do those. If you have any issues, if you have any questions, just shoot me a message, and I'll help you get that figured out as much as I can. With all that, this is an ongoing process. So please continue to bear with Living Water. Continue to bear with myself, with Pastor Jesse, as we figure it out. We're praying for each of you. I ask that you do the same for us. We're going to hopefully continue to give you opportunities for these on-ramps, whether it's the YouVersion Bible app, whether it's the quiz night, the family quiz night via Zoom that we did, working on something like a town hall meeting. Maybe we can do like a webinar through Zoom, conference calling. So just keep on the lookout for things like that. And if something comes across your mind like, oh, wouldn't it be great to connect this way, shoot it towards me as an idea, and we'll see what we can do. Just continue to follow us on Facebook. That's kind of a hub. Continue to check your email. This has been a 20-minute thing, so my guess is that not everybody makes it through this, but if so, this is the information that we're, as Living Water Council, as Living Water Leadership, trying to give to you. So do your best to receive that information. And like Paul says, it was good. It's good, the fact that we're going through this together. This is something that's hopefully going to be tying us closer to each other and tying us closer to our Sustainer. So at Living Water, we seek to follow Jesus by loving God and loving others. And I pray and I hope that that is now more than ever very, very true of us as an organization, and very, very true of us as individuals. I love you all. I miss you all. And I look forward to seeing you via online for this Palm Sunday service next week. We'll be in touch. Thank you.